Well, you take a look at the two, you see that Lee is taller. He's a couple of pounds heavier. He's 4 years older, and he has a reach advantage of a couple of inches over the big slinging, hard-punching John Jackson. All right, so John Jackson decked out in the blue with a white trim, the colors of the Virgin Islands, and Andy Lee decked out in the colors of Irish, well, at least the Irish flag with the white and the green and orange trim. So we'll see how this unfolds. You notice right away, Andy Lee jabbing with that right hand, big, tall guy, 2-inch advantage in height and a couple of inches in reach over the really hard-punching John Jackson. John Jackson turned pro in the Virgin Islands in January of '09 and ran off 13 straight wins, 12 by knockout. His record is 18-1, 15 KOs. Only been 10 rounds one time in his career, so we'll see how this unfolds as it goes down the wire. Andy Lee, well, he's a tough kid, solid right hand, aggressive, good body shots. Larry mentioned that he worked with the late Emmanuel Stewart, who was a trainer of so many terrific fighters in the Kronk Boxing Gym up there in Detroit. And in the absence of Emmanuel, Lee has been able to go ahead and continue on his winning ways. His first loss was to Brian Vera in March of 2008, 7th round TKO at Mohegan Sun up in Connecticut. Then he had 13 straight wins until losing the WBC world title shot against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a fight seen here in Top Rank in June of 2013. Other than that, 32 victories, 22 by KO, so he's got some pop in those long arms.
He avenged the loss to Vera, but then fighting at a higher weight, he didn't survive Chavez Jr. So he's back down to a better weight where his punch may carry him.
Let's see, because Jackson is a big puncher and he ripped the shot. Oh, there's a right hand that drops Andy Lee. And there's the big puncher, as I just said. The count is up to 5 and 6 as Bendy will take it up to 8. He appears to be okay, but he was nailed with the right hand. John will try to finish him if he possibly can. This guy's very, very aggressive with early round knockouts. Here he comes with the right hand again. Another solid right hand. Digging body shot, and he spins out of the corner.
He's also been hit some counter punches and has taken them very well.
When I asked John Jackson when he was at his media day workout, what should I look out for from you on Saturday night? He said, oh, my right hand is something fierce. And hasn't it been so far tonight, Colonel?
Yes, it has. And his dad had the same sort of right hand and left hook and body shot. His dad was a huge puncher.
Yeah, I was working mitts with Julian during that workout, and history watching those two, father and son. His father, a 2-time world champion at the middleweight division.
Lee trying to hold. You can see him holding his left hand higher now. Obviously, from the southpaw's point of view, the most vulnerable to that right hand, and he got really nailed early.
Well, down, but he was able to get back up in plenty of time for the 8 count. But Jackson scores a 10-8 round to get things going here.
Left side, right side, that left side quick. Won't let him know when it's coming. You've got to remember with that left side.
Adam Booth, Joey Gamache, Darren Kane, Gary Logan all work with him. Roger Anderson, David Rogers, Sussin Valet Jr. Sussin Valet was actually the trainer of Julian Jackson. Now his son works the corner with John. There's the right hand. He had everything going, Larry, when he smacked him on the left side of the jaw.
All right, seconds out, let's go.
Quick and to the point.
To be sure. Here we go, round number 2. Bob Sheridan here, Larry Merchant, Christina Poncher's with us as well. The southpaw, Andy Lee, down in the first round and down with a vicious right-hand shot by John Jackson. Talked about how powerful he was, and we've seen it already. John's got to work his way to try to get that shot again. And, of course, southpaws, as Larry mentioned, vulnerable to the right hand. The southpaw better start throwing some left hands of his own down the middle to hold this guy off and don't let John work in, because John is thinking about what he's trying to do. And there it was, the straight left hand down the middle. The straight right down the middle is the ticket for John Jackson throughout the course of the evening. But you know, he's got that kind of three-quarter hooking right hand is what he caught him with to drop him in the first round. A couple of minutes gone, rather 1 minute gone by here in round 2. Christina, did you get a chance to talk to Andy at all?
I did get a chance to talk to him at his media workout. He said he's very comfortable at 154. All he had to do was make some small adjustments in his diet, but assured me that his power will carry on down. And it took about four tune-up fights after the loss to Chavez with his new team, moved to London or trained in London to kind of said it was by design to get the game plan, to get comfortable working with them. And now he's ready to be back on a big stage, and says he feels very comfortable at 154, but we'll see.
Great Irish fighters, Barry McGuigan, Stevie Collins, people of that nature over the past few years. Lee trying to become another one of those.
He said a lot on the line for him in this fight. He really feels like he has to win this fight to keep his dreams alive and to get back on the big stage. And that's a lot of pressure for a fighter who kind of feels like it's do or die, being that his last title opportunity was a big loss against Chavez in El Paso, Texas.
Two minutes gone here and a little bit more. Round 2. No big blows landed by either man in this round. Jackson seems to be waiting, Larry.
Yeah.
As we say that, he lands a couple of solid right hands. Digs downstairs again, does Jackson. Back up with a solid right hand. But these guys are really setting down on the punches, both of them.
And Jackson appears to be just a little quicker with those hard punches at close quarters. Sometimes it's an advantage to be the smaller guy.
Stop at the belt.
As the case has been so far through 2 rounds of this fight. The bell ends round 2. Islands. He knocked Lee down with a solid right hand shot to the jaw in the first round. This is round 3. Scheduled for 10 NABF Super Welterweight Championship fight at 154 pounds. Jackson seemed to wait for the big shot and the big opportunity in round 2. The big opportunity that he had, they had one really good exchange kind of right above us, and that's about all he did in the second round.
Lee has been in a lot of good action-packed fights, but it seems as if he's trying to fight in a more measured way here.
What would they going to England? I mean, does that mean anything in the way he's fighting tonight, Larry, as opposed to fighting in Prague?
It might be. You have to remember, he was actually born in London, moved with his Irish family to Limerick when he was about 14, so it's not as if he's on foreign territory.
Right.
And he speaks English very well, I can assure you. He speaks boxing pretty well, too.
So using that long jab, not throwing too many of the powerful left hands that the southpaw has. Both guys a lot more measured now here in the third round than the first round. John tried to catch him with that right hand. See Andy blasting as Benji Estevez separates the two. Very wide stance has Andy Lee for a lot of his positioning in the ring, and when I see a guy with a big wide stance like that, it's very hard to get off your powerful left hand when it's that wide. Now he's shortened up just a little bit, and as he does, Jackson blasts him with the right hand to the left side of the head. No damage done.
Jackson just trying to stalk him, get Lee to open up and engage him at close quarters.
That's his style of getting inside that long right jab of Andy Lee. And when he bends way over, he'll throw shots to the body with either hand, left or right. Jackson likes the right hand, and he's not afraid to let it fly. He seems very calculated as to when he wants to throw it in this round.
Well, he hasn't done much in this round. And Lee gets to the bell right now. I think it would be his round.
Yeah, definitely. Jackson.
Or maybe even the first home in terms of the big crowds he's drawn here in New York.
Well, I've been doing a lot of undercard fights earlier this evening, and I can tell you that the crowd was very sparse around 5 o'clock when I first came in here, and it's just built up solidly, and it will continue to grow because they want to see Cotto, and especially in this Puerto Rican holiday weekend here. Big Puerto Rican Day parade tomorrow, and Cotto wants to participate in that as champion. This is round 4. The Colonel, Bob Sheridan, along with Larry Merchant and Christina Poncher. Jackson continues to fight as he left off in the second and third rounds. He's looking to land the big right hand as he did back in the first round. He hasn't been shaken, but he was outboxed in the third round. At least Larry and I thought so. Almost trying to get small there, Larry. He almost went real south of the border as Andy hit him on the shoulder as he was coming in and bending over. Nice slick move that time by Andy, avoiding the punch of John Jackson and trying to unleash some power of his own. Jackson trying to time the right hand.
I wonder why Andy's not popping that jab out a little bit more. He does have a significant size advantage and reach advantage, and it seems like every time when John Jackson comes inside, he's getting the better of the exchange. You would think that Andy would try to get his jab out and create some distance, take advantage.
Part of the problem is the way that John Jackson is waiting and almost closing that kill zone. So by the time he lets him into that kill zone, it's too late for the jab.
And right now, Jackson has switched to southpaw.
Unless the guy trains that way.
You don't like to see that, do you, Colonel?
No, I don't like it at all, because guys lose accuracy, they lose punching power, and they usually get hit more when they switch from right-handed to southpaw. Jackson, now he switches back to the orthodox style, so he did nothing in the southpaw. He reaches out with the right hand, cut Lee part of the head anyway. He lets fly with his left hand. He needs to throw more of those, I think. Jackson, in the last few seconds of the last round and this round, is hanging his left hand down a little bit more. So if Lee picks that up, all he has to do is slide to his right and throw his straight left down the middle to catch it. Has that wide stance, and that's why Jackson seems to want to wait to land the big right hand, and Lee throwing maybe more punches, but not a lot of as much accuracy as what Andy Lee fans would like to see.
Before the Jacksons, Emil Griffith came to Madison Square Garden to fight, became very popular in New York from the Virgin Islands, fought 23 times, more than any fighter in history, at a Madison Square Garden. I say a Madison Square Garden because he fought in an older version of this Madison Square Garden. There was yet an older version of the older version because the garden goes back about 130 years.
Well, I didn't see the first one, but I saw the second one. Is Jackson trying to load up some shots here? He's got it back on the ropes, nails him with a pretty good shot, and he staggered him just a bit. Look at that! Right hand, right back, and Jackson may not recover. That was a hard knockdown. The fight's all over. Jackson is knocked out. How about that, folks?
Andy
Lee, one punch knocks out John Jackson.
Andy Lee laid a trap. He was waiting for Jackson to throw the left, which he was keeping low, and hit him with a perfect short right hand that young Jackson never saw coming. And so instead of, as old newspaper guys used to say, that's 30 on your career, the end of your career, Andy Lee just gave himself a birthday present. He'll be 30 in a few days, and his career will move onward and upward. And Jackson has still not gotten up from that right hand.
Brutal. Well, that was a statement Andy Lee was looking to make tonight, trying to get back onto the big stage. He certainly made one with one punch, Colonel.
Well, here he shows some real grit, because I thought he was in trouble. That was kind of a slip. I thought it might have been a stagger, but all of a sudden that right half uppercut nails him. And look at, boom, right there, everything on it.
Well,
he's sitting up now, at least.
If the late great Emmanuel Stewart had seen this,
I'm sure he did.
His smile would light up this joint.
I couldn't agree with you more, Larry. I'm sure he's looking down, very proud of his fighter, Andy Lee, right now.
Andy Lee, like a bolt out of the blue, appeared to be in a bit of trouble, and all of a sudden, a left hand knocks out Julian's son, John Jackson, cold. How about that? We understand unofficially the scorecards were all 39-36 Jackson. We had 39-37 Jackson. But we scored that fourth round 10-10. They didn't. So we will go to Michael Buffer and make this officially momentarily here. There's nothing unofficial about the fact that Andy Lee cracked John Jackson with some right hand.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, the end of this contest comes at 1 minute 7 seconds of round number 5. The winner by knockout victory, Irish Andy Lee.
So everyone watching in England and Ireland, all my relatives in County Tipperary and County Clare, hope you enjoyed watching the Irishman do in the fellow from the Virgin Islands.